My name's Morgan, and this is my skid steer. It's a John Deere 333D. I bought it with no engine, a brand new long block to put in it. My plans are to make this thing run, work as it should. I hope you guys enjoy the struggles along the way. Let's get after it. We're back on the skid steer project. I've got the head for the engine stand out here. I picked up some bolts. We're gonna go ahead and get it bolted on, and we're gonna use the mini excavator to pack this in the shop, and we will get it hung on that manipulator. I'm gonna pull the pan, probably the valve cover, just a few things off of this engine just to make sure everything looks right. I don't know if the people that put this together, as far as they did, knew what they were doing, but now's the time to do it. But I would like to get this drug in the shop and then take some of the boxes of stuff out of this machine and get them drug in there. I might back the semi up closer and unload this. We'll see. Maybe not, because I need to get that tractor out of there still today. But just start to get some of this stuff picked up off of the step deck. Got that all bolted on there. Most of the time you want to try to get this as close to the center as possible. So that's about as close as I can get with this bolt pattern. Now let's get the mini hoe hooked up to it and see if we can stand it up. That went nice and smooth. Just looped one around the engine stand. One was already on that pick and eye. I'm going to square it up a little bit and start tracking over towards the shop. Okay, I got it set in the lathe chuck, tightened down. Seems fairly stable. Always looks like it isn't enough to hold them, but it is. I'm going to get this plugged in, get this squared up straight. Tighten these a little more. Okay, it's on there. Seems fairly stable. Got some pads down under here like they would really help if I did drop this thing, but I think we're gonna go ahead and flip it. That worked out all right. I see oil pan bolts that are not tight. Actually, I think it's all of them, so. Yeah, let's see, what does this say? To remove before final sale. Please peel here. Huh. Not real sure what that's about. Didn't really say. Was rebuilt under 13 CCR 24-.23. I got all the parts drug out of the cab, sitting in the JCB bucket. I'm gonna haul them in the shop, get them laid out on a table probably, but kind of give you guys a better look inside. You can see it's pretty darn greasy down under here. I don't know why they didn't raise the cab on this to get to some of this stuff, but maybe they did and put it back down when they sold it. I don't know, but this thing's gonna need washed out bad. Get around here to the back side. Everything seems like it's all here. Hydraulic pumps laying down on the bottom. They undid the mount for it, I guess probably to get the engine out of here. So I'll have to lift it back up, hook the mount back to it. But I'm gonna bring a pressure washer home from work, probably get this thing washed out good before I go to stabbing stuff back in here. But you can see they got the AC system all kind of strung up here. I'm guessing that's because they didn't want to suck the Freon out of it, or didn't have a way to. But lots of parts. I got all the parts pulled out of the bucket, kind of laid out on a table, kind of messed up on a table. I pulled the water pump off because I did not like how it spins. It feels a little messed up. And check out the spray copper gasket. I noticed it on the front of this engine, and they like that stuff apparently. So that's pretty neat. Check out this. It's almost like that water pump had kind of eroded that casting. Maybe it wasn't very good to begin with, but that was probably from coolant being in there too long, I would imagine. But no big deal. I'm gonna buy a new water pump and thermostat. The original engine failure was from head gasket going out, so they told me. So why wouldn't you put a new water pump and thermostat on it when you did that? You know that stuff has been good and hot, but oh well, I guess. To each his own, but that's what we're gonna do. Gotta get those ordered. I still need to pull the valve cover off, take a look under there. Hard telling what I'll find. But this is a fuel pump here. Not sure what that is, if it's like a knock sensor or something. Kind of found some other pieces. I found the tube for the oil to drain back off the turbo. I don't know where it feeds from. I'll have to find that. I'm not real sure. We got a tube that'll go there. Air cleaner should feed the turbo. I'll have to figure that stuff out. Got some exhaust manifold bolts here. Looks like we're missing the spacer for one. Maybe I'll try to pick one of them up. Just kind of easing my way through this. Oh, it's the end of a Sunday. It's been a good day. We got a lot done around here. I got a bunch of stuff rolling in through the shop this week. So I will just probably call it a day. I need to go up the house, take a shower. Got to go over to the in-laws for supper tonight. But just trying to get a feel for what I got here. I got a friend of mine right down the road that's got a 332, which I believe is the same as the 333 John Deere, except it's on tires. So I'm gonna swing by his place, take a bunch of pictures of the engine on it, and kind of take a gander at some of this stuff. That should help me a lot. That idler there does not feel very good either. So, just things need changed out. Get this thing ready to get stabbed back in there. Looks like I got I would say a coolant port. Maybe this is for the heater, these two. His machine will tell me a lot on that, so. Oh, it's another evening out in the shop. I ordered a whole bunch of parts for this. Water pump, thermostat, radiator, different gaskets for, this is a hydraulic high flow pump. They'll go here. What else did I order? Quite a few things. Just trying to get it all pieced together. But I think what I'm going to do this evening is I might pull the timing cover and pull the valve cover, take a look under both of them. I need to see if it's in time, if there's anything that can be messed up there. Obviously, hydraulic pump doesn't care if it's in time or not, but then I want to look under the valve cover and see what's going on there. So that's my plan. Got the timing cover pulled off. They like that old spray copper. But if you look down here, you see a dot on the cam, and then there's a line on the crankshaft. So I can't imagine that they would have had any reason to mess with any of this. Oh, but you never know when you're getting into something like this. But that all looks fine to me. The gasket looks all right from what I can tell. I don't really know why they thought they needed this copper coating all over it, but probably won't hurt anything. So I think I'll be good to put it back together. Something else is, here's our oil pump behind this cover here. I'm gonna pull that plate off and look at it. And then there's some sort of check ball in here with the spring. And I went ahead and pushed down on that ball and I could see the spring moving. So I would say it's fine, but I'll take a look inside this oil pump. It might be that they packed it full of grease, which is fine, but I just need to know for sure. So no grease inside of there. I will put some inside of there or some assembly lube or something. Wipe this old oil out. Backside of it looks fine. I will blue Loctite these bolts back in, going into that cover, and then should be ready to put this cover back on there. We've got thermostat in here. Looks like a good gasket here. Thermostat comes out the top, so I can replace it when it gets here. I got a new water pump too. There's a little tin plate here that I've never seen, kind of brass looking. I wouldn't have guessed that it needed that with that rubber seal, but it seems like a good spot for it to leak to me. But I might have to do some research on that and decide if this guy's supposed to be on there, or if you use one or the other. I'm not real sure, but we'll see if I can figure that out. I packed this full of grease, just regular old white lithium grease. I was going to use this assembly lube. By the way, all this stuff came with the project. Build your own skid steer, I guess. But this was going to run right out the bottom where the oil pickup tube is. And I just figured the grease would be better. It'll put plenty of lube inside there when we're turning the engine over, and till it picks up oil. I bought new O-rings for the pickup tube. Those will be coming still. And I got online, or on John Deere's website, and there is only one gasket. I don't know if this was an option where you could do this brass one or this rubber one, but we're not going to do both. I might put a little bit of silicone on the back side of this, just for good measure, but I think this cover is about ready to go back on there. As far as I can tell, I'm not going to mess with any of this. Maybe I will smear a little silicone on there. I can't really tell if that's going to seal or not. I've done a little bit with this copper gasket maker before, but I've always used it in high heat scenarios, like on exhaust manifold gaskets or something. I never hosed things down like this, but if you don't know, you don't know, so I'll leave them alone, I guess. But I think I'm gonna just smear a little silicone on here with my finger just for good measure. In case anybody's interested, I spent a good part of probably 2.5 hours washing out the belly of the beast. I still got some crap in there, but it's a heck of a lot better than it was. I think that'll work to re-stab an engine anyways. And if you don't believe me that I washed it, check this out. Got a little bit on me. That's the way she goes though. We're back working on the skid steer engine today, and I got a little bit done. I'd pulled the valve cover. Everything looked good underneath there. I ohmed out the glow plugs while I was in there. They ohmed out good, so I'm gonna run them. I got a new water pump. Got the old thermostat out. I need to put the new one in. I got the oil pan put on here, and took me a second to figure out which way it wants to go on there. But the drain is on the right hand side of the machine, and there's a plate that bolts onto the end of this, and that keeps it from so you can get to it. You pull the plate off and this comes out and you drain the oil. This was very rusted and stuck on there. I can't imagine why they needed an engine already. Like, geez Louise, let's do some maintenance every once in a while. But we got that done. Oil pickup tubes inside the pan with new O-rings on it. Everything's siliconed on, gasketed down tight. So I've got got the gaskets for the high flow pump here that I'll put on probably after lunch. And then I think it's on the other side here. We can put the starter on. Yep, back there, starter can go on. We'll probably spin an oil filter on there. I've got a new one of these lines here. This one here is just bulk straight line. I may leave it alone, I haven't decided. It doesn't look as bad, or I might leave them both alone, I'm not sure. But I've got to pull this plug out, I think, for the drain off the turbo. I got to figure out where the turbo gets its oil from. I need a spacer for behind this exhaust manifold bolt, but it's all coming together good. I might take this alternator off and paint the whole works if I can get it clean enough where I think it'll take some paint. Just paint it all black probably. I'm pretty sure I've got some black spray paint, so looking pretty good. It was a fairly productive day in the shop. Get this zoomed out where you guys can see. Got the high flow pump put on. AC compressor bracket. Lower engine mount. I found the dipstick hole, but I don't know where the clamp for the dipstick goes to hold it on in place. I need to figure out the routing for my fuel lines. Pretty sure the fuel goes in the back of the head right there, but I don't know the routing for them. New thermostat. Like I said, water pump. There's the bracket. Starters installed. Both the turbo lines. I know that there's supposed to be an oil pressure sending unit. Oil pressure sender. Let's see what I do with it. I thought I had it right here. There it is, sitting in the magnetic pan. I know that it's supposed to go somewhere in that region, but I haven't figured out where it's supposed to go yet. But it's starting to actually look like a power unit for a skid steer. You can see I bought a new battery for the machine down there. This box here's got a new fan in it. Filters and all grommets and different things. The bolts are kind of falling where they need to be, I think. You kind of just look at them and count how many you have and put them in place. At the end of the day, they're just bolts. If anything, they're going to be too long or too short. So Don't torque them down too tight if you don't know for sure. But we cleaned up the shop. My father-in-law's been here the last 2 days. He's been building a fuel tank for my mother-in-law's pickup. It's turned out nice. Should be about 100 gallons. You can see all the welds there from, he's been dogging the side out. There's a couple baffles in there that you can see those welds. They pulled on it, so he had to dog them out back to square, but that turned out all right. And then we pulled this pickup back in the shop here. This is a customer's pickup that I've been building a headache rack and bed rails for this week. Brand new Ford aluminum Tommy gate, nice looking pickup. But this is what they're gonna look like on both sides. They're just all tacked together. I had welding blankets all over the pickup so I didn't burn any of the paint, and rubber underneath the bed rails so I didn't burn any of the plastic. But I'm gonna tack the bed rail on the other side probably tomorrow after work, and then I'm gonna lift it off here with the lift, weld it out, paint it, install it. I've got some placard holders here to put on the sides and on the Tommy lift here. But just kind of a normal weekend in the shop. I've been bouncing back and forth, putting parts on this engine, helping my father-in-law, helping my wife, just kind of doing things that need to get done. But it's Sunday evening. I've got myself a drink made. I'm just gonna relax and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Hopefully you guys will too.